Hello, ladies and gentlemen from around the world. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Global Talkative Series with your host, Lanre Ajayi. It's an honor for me to be here today, and we've been blessed on this show to have amazing guests coming to share their wealth of experience with us on this platform. It's a global platform where we collaborate, inspire one another, and hang out. And get instruction on how to live a life, especially during this challenging time. And today's not an exception. I have an amazing guest in the house that will be coming to share a wealth of experience with us. So I'm going to bring him in into the Instagram because we are reaching you from our global talkative series studio here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Coming to you real time, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So like we did on this show, I'm going to bring our guest in. I'm going to read the profile of our guest, and then we'll go straight into the question. Okay, we have our guest in the studio right now. Thank you very much. Today our guest is no other person but an amazing community leader, a mentor for so many, including me. Uh, is by the name of Sunmbo Durosola. Is a professional certified coach, and our topic of discussion today is career coaching and mentoring. And like we do it on this show, I'm going to read the profile of our guest to you so that you can have an idea of who we're talking to, and then you can, you know, find a way to answer questions. And for those who are joining us already on Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram, thank you so much. So here goes the profile of our guest. Sumo Drushala is a professional certified coach, PCC, with decades of consulting experience on the inside in the energy, retail, and not for profit sectors. His coaching approach helps leaders refine and build a strong executive persona, set clear organizational direction, gain commitment for performance, and foster alignment across the organization. In 2016, Sumbo started his independent practice and continues to work with clients on three continents, remotely and face to face, to help leaders increase their influence and credibility, lead with purpose, and accelerate organizational commitment, alignment, and results. Much of his work in the last 3 years involves coming alongside executives in Canadian non for profit with entities on 6 continents as they navigate cultures and boundaries to build strategic alliances for mutual benefit. These are its designations: Certified Executive Coach, Royal Road University, Victoria, BC; Professional Certified Coach, International Coach Federation, SHRM SCP, that is Society of Human Resource Management; CPHR, Chartered Professional in Human Resources; PROSCI, Method of Change Management; Education, Graduate Certificate in Executive Coaching, Royal Road University; Masters in Industrial and Labor Relations, University of Ibadan, Nigeria; and Bachelor of Arts, Comparative Religion, University of Ibadan, Nigeria. Sumbo is Sumbo volunteers with charity organizations that provide opportunities to learners with multiple barriers and help individuals build new skills, increase confidence, and continue a path of lifelong approach. Sumbo's approach to coaching: with a bachelor's in comparative religion, beliefs, and philosophies across cultures, he is trained to switch off his own inner voice of judgment and, with an open heart, connect with others. A knowledge management and leadership development expert, Sumbo is passionate about helping clients discern their own knowledge, values, and inspirations in building consciousness for action and moving in the direction of their choice. As a strategic confidant, he creates a safe and supportive environment where leaders candidly discuss and explore challenges, develop a consciousness for creating a path for greater leadership success. This is done through a framework of inquiry that helps people find their own answers, redefine and generate new direction. That is an amazing resume. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome our guest for today. Sunmbo Durosola. How are you, sir?
Thank you for having me. I'm fine. And how's it going?
It's been amazing. That is an amazing resume, sir. You've been everywhere. You've done a lot of things, and thank you so much for taking time out of a busy schedule to come on this show today. And for our audience who are joining us, we appreciate you, Andrea, Neil, Dwestu, and all those who are watching us from around the world. Our topic today is career coaching and mentoring. You know, it has been said that if you want to go far, if you want to expand your horizon, you need the right company to put you on the right track. And as especially for those of us who are career oriented individuals, we need the right guidance, the right instruction, the right alignment for life. And that is where our guests come in today, and we have some questions that we're going to ask our guest. And if you are watching us now and you have a question for our guest, either on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, kindly type your question in. We've got 1 hour for this, and then it's going to be amazing. So let's go right into the question, sir. The first question I have for you today is: having had extensive and high level experience in human resources and leadership, at what point did you decide to go into consulting as well as becoming an executive mentor and career coach, and why?
Okay. I didn't come into it by accident. I used to work for a multinational corporation, an oil and gas company. Having been a business partner for several years, I moved into development. I worked at the both ends of the talent spectrum, uh,
Mm,
identification, development, and placement of very senior executives, looking at the top 20 positions in the organizations. Uh, that was a project I ran for 3 years, and moved on to another project where the company needed to use coaching and mentoring as a form of imparting knowledge from retiring baby boomers to
mm,
millennials who are joining. And so running a curriculum and a framework that helps transfer leadership, professional, and skills from retiring baby boomers to individuals who are straight and fresh from the university with no experience at all through a 3-year curriculum where by the end of the third year, you have them having their professional badge, uh, globally deployable professionals. On retirement and coming to Canada, uh, decided to take a follow. And it's amazing that majority of those in the talent pipeline had left the organization that we were in. They've been poached by other organizations, startups, and the relationship I developed uh, continued. The trust as a trusted advisor and a confidant. You know, you have them waking me up in the night when they have high stake meetings, uh, trying to explore their thinking, my thinking, on about what they have in the next day. So primarily, I ended up being a sounding board and strategic confidant and a thinking partner for designing actions on high stakes things. So I'm removed from the office and the environment. Most times I'm hundreds or thousands of kilometers away, so they won't run into me in the corridor next day.
yeah.
And then I found out that this is consistent, and so it's actually something I can earn money doing because the market is there. So I retrained and went to school, got my certification, and so here I am as an executive coach, as it were.
Hmm. That is amazing. That is wonderful. Now, while you were talking, you said something about designing action, help to resolve challenging situation, and our topic of discussion today is career coaching and mentoring. So the question I have is: what does it mean to be an executive coach and process consultant, and how does it work?
So basically, a coach in any realm is somebody in your corner who you trust and who can read the field for you, and probably in a conversation help you understand what's happening. We all need feedback and we all need to grow. And a coach is somebody who is a sounding board, that you, most times it has to do with career, the workplace, and sometimes it's life. Life happens, marriages, transitions, and sometimes disagreements with kids.
Yeah.
So it's about who you are, how you're showing up wherever you are, how you are being experienced. And so you have somebody who listens to you as a sounding board. What's uppermost in your hand, in your heart? What direction do you want to go? What are the issues you want to solve? And you sit down and you talk through it. The coach holds up a mirror that you can actually see and recognize what's going in. They create a safe, supportive environment where you can be who you are, dream about who you want to be, and then get into the external, into a balcony, and look
Yeah.
at your life on the dance floor of life, and say, okay, who do I want to be, and what do I want to go?
Hmm. That is amazing. That is a very, very amazing point. And let us dig in from an individual point of view and ask from your perspective. Why do we need to have a career coach and a measurable position? How does this translate?
So, looking at you an individual in the workplace, if you're new, you need to know your place. You need to demonstrate that you're capable, and you need to find your feet and belong. You probably need a mentor or a coach to help you make sense of where you are, to help you develop personal mastery, not just about the work you need to do at the professional setting, but engaging your stakeholders, your bosses, your peers, your subordinates, and ensure that you're not only seen in the right light, but you're playing the game of your life by
Yeah.
being your best at any point in time.
Hmm. Hmm. That is amazing. Now, the question I have on my mind, I know a lot of guests will be wondering, what is the difference between a coach and a mentor?
There isn't much difference between being a coach and a mentor, actually. You have two people in your corner who help you make sense of what's going on around. So, setting objectives in terms of medium term, long term, either in the workplace or in life. So, for workplace situations, you're looking at notable changes in organizations, culture, how to work in a team, leading a team, support people successfully. Uh, and then it's a conversation between two equals. So on a one-on-one. But the difference between a coach and a mentor, uh, it's like the coaching continuum and the coaching and mentoring continuum. You have
Yeah.
the mentorship on one spectrum, and you have coaching on the other spectrum. Mentorship is directional in a sense. Um, so, in terms of mentorship, you have an older person, experienced, who's been in the situation and who's walked the road, hand holding you and guiding and helping you to one, land quickly, make sense of what's going on, and then be your best. So
Yeah.
they guide, they tell you what to look out for, they tell you what's required for the role,
Hmm.
and they how to make an impact quickly. So competencies, okay,
Yes.
um, derailers, and things that can trip you up while you're there. They
Hmm.
are trusted friends, and they challenge you and encourage you to set, uh, how do I put it now, goals for yourself and walk you through. A
Yeah.
coach is different. A coach does not bring content. What a coach does is help you to be, okay, assess your situation, and through a conversation and inquiry, you begin to surface issues for yourself so that you can begin to understand what's going on. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Between emails, travel, meetings, and conflict in the organizations, you have torn apart and pulled in different places, as it were. It's like snorkeling. So you go in under the water and you come up for a breath of fresh air to refresh,
Yeah.
to re-energize, orientate, and then set your priorities. Then you go back into the deep. So in the midst of a busy day, in the life of an executive or the life of somebody who is new at work, a coach creates a safe, supportive environment where you can actually begin to explore, okay, what's going on here, and set goals about where you want to be in the short term, and
Hmm.
walk backwards and support you in achieving all that.
Hmm. That is amazing. Thank you very much, sir. So I have this question. How do one determine who is a good coach, career coach? What are the things, what are the qualities that I have to like, if I need a career coach in my area of specialization, what are the things I should look for in a career coach?
The first thing you look out for is, do they have the skills to coach you? Do they have the relevant training, the designation? Having a designation means a coach has invested in themselves. They've
Yeah.
gone up to uh, learn the act of coaching. They've been assessed, and they are seen their standards, and they've gone past the standards. It means they subscribe to an ethical standard of a body
Hmm.
that guides,
Yes.
and there is always a place you can go and report them. So certification is key. Certification is an indication that they've been trained, they have the experience, and that they know what they're doing. The other bit is looking at, is there a chemistry between me and this
Yeah.
coach? And is it the right coach for me? What kind of situations have they helped people? What have they helped people with? And will they be able to help my situation? It's always a good practice to look out for 2 or 3 coaches. And then uh, most coaches offer free trials, so you can experience coaching and see whether they fit and whether they're able to help you.
Hmm. Thank you very much. That leads us to the next question. Now, what are the common issues? The common issues you have noticed in the career development of professionals today that can be transformed through the service of a professional like you?
Okay, I'll look at people who are working here in Canada and who might need a coach. So if you are new in a job and you need to make a quick impression and you need to be at your best showing up, yeah, you probably need a coach to help you settle down. If you have been appointed into a team by promotion or transfer, and you really, really, really want to play high stake games where you show up at your best, a coach might be somebody that you might want to work with. For those of us who emigrate, sometimes you're very senior where you come from. You're here, and how do you help people understand your skills, or how do you relate, or how do you understand how your skills, okay, uh, match Canadian requirements. You might
Yeah.
need a mentor for that, somebody who's gone through that, somebody who was in that profession, and somebody who can help you make sense of what's going on and where you fit and where your place might be.
Hmm.
But when you have a leg in, the tendency here, uh, because people have no understanding of what your pathway to responsibility is, it's outside of Canada and you don't have the Canadian experience, there you're likely to be overlooked, you're likely to be underrated, and you're likely uh, to be passed by for promotions.
Hmm.
Those are normal things because nobody knows you.
Yeah.
A coach can help you to begin to design your own context by helping people not just seeing, okay, understand who you are and the value you provide. So,
It's amazing. That
so,
is wonderful.
so
Okay.
how do you turn perceptions that people have of you and biases that they have into an advantage? A
Yeah.
coach can really help you do that. So, breaking the glass ceiling for new immigrants, breaking
Yeah.
the glass ceiling for women who have taken time out to come back into the workplace. Yeah, I hope a coach can help you uh, do that.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. This is still the Global Talkative Series with your host, Lanre Ajayi. And I would appreciate everybody who are watching us now. Megan Thierin, thank you for watching. Imole Ayuashagbon from Vancouver, thank you. Toyo Layenka from United Kingdom, thank you. Fabric Pearl, thank you. My Life is My Style Luxury, thank you for watching. And all those who are watching. And we still have our guest in the house, Sunmbo Durosola, professional certified coach. And our topic of discussion today is career coaching and mentoring. If you have any question, kindly type in your question, whether you're watching us on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, and then we'll do our best to answer your question. Now,
So,
so the next question.
no, before we go on the next
Okay,
question, let's just
all right,
expand on the last one.
okay, all right, sir. Okay,
So, looking at the current situation where a lot of people are in transitions because of the downturn of the economy,
all right,
yeah, there has been issues with the oil company or oil industry, and a lot of people are like, okay, I've had enough of the cyclic nature of
yeah,
the industry. They've got skills, personal, professional, and they're looking at, okay, what else can I do? Uh, a coach can help you uh, in the current economic state to
yeah,
reinvent yourself to reinvent yourself.
mm,
So it can help you frame a personal vision for the future
mm,
and a personal mission and values uh, document through which you can explore opportunities for putting your skills to something better and more fulfilling. And then while in transition, you don't go into depression, help you maintain a positive attitude.
that
So
is true.
primarily personal mastery, uh, establishing an intimate understanding of who you are, how you operate, and then regain and actualize your sense of purpose and find meaning in life. Yeah, by
That
aligning your skills, your experience, and how you put that to something more fulfilling and better that serves you and your family.
Yeah, that is amazing. Because, like you said, we have a lot of folks who have lost their job due to COVID-19, pandemic situations. And of course, a lot of people are going through so many mental health challenges as a result of bills mounting, these have to pay for that, and the money is not forthcoming. So I think what you just said really make a lot of sense in that, you know, you don't have to get stuck in a particular position. The fact that, okay, you don't have your services are not being needed in this field with your with your degree or with your education, a coach will be a form of guide so that you will know how you can channel your professional knowledge acquired into something. Thank you very much, sir. That is amazing. Thank you.
So
Okay.
before we move on, still on that,
All right.
yeah, I used to work in the oil industry, and you come on, the first thing they say is, if the industry opens up again, you'll go back.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you can't escape the perceptions that others have about you
Hmm,
and the attributes that result in that.
hmm,
So how do you help turn perceptions and biases into your advantage? And how do
hmm,
you guide the process of how people perceive the value you bring and who you are? How do you become an author of your own
hmm,
story?
hmm,
And so that's what a coach can also help you.
hmm,
So you show up in the way you want to be, and you guide people uh, through when you're at interviews or when you are engaging and networking as to, yeah, what winds your clock, what
hmm,
is important to you, what matters most to you in life, what are your values, and how can you be a problem solver? What do you care most about? And establishing connection. So
hmm,
not just personal mastery about who you are, but how do you connect with others, and how do you align with others, looking at something big or something outside of yourself,
hmm,
and serving a bigger purpose than yourself and the other person you're talking to.
hmm. That is amazing. That is amazing. I have a next question, which is something that I know is a major issue with a lot of folks, especially those from African descent. Now,
Mhm.
what are some of the techniques for pushing professionals out of their comfort zone as a mentor and a career coach? How can we put professional out? Because I heard stories, of individuals who are going through so many challenges in their place of work or at home, and they have this skill set that can be useful, that can help them, that can propel them in a very, right direction. So, what are some of the techniques, that can push professionals out of their comfort zone, as a mentor and a coach?
Uh, it's about setting impossible goals. You set
Wow.
audacious targets. Say, for instance, say, be on the sun in 5 years' time, land on the sun.
Wow.
And so, working with a coach, you can begin to frame what that impossible target or impossible future might be, and then begin to work your way back to where you are. So, what's your circumstances? What are the things that you need to go on the journey? What do you need to leave behind? And what are the things you need to move, the risks, navigate, and then you work with a coach. So a coach can guide you from where you are now to something that you think is impossible. Yeah.
Mm, mm. How can you okay, if I needed to get a coach, what are the or let me frame the question this way. How can one track his or our progress for the duration of being involved with a career coach? How can you track your progress?
So coaching is not limited to career alone.
Yeah.
As a coach, you coach the whole person. So what do you really want out of life, in real broad terms? And sometimes a job will provide that. Sometimes something other than a job will provide that. Nothing stops me from going back to HR now as an individual. That's where I've been for about 30 years.
Wow.
But I chose to set up a practice. It's difficult, it's challenging, um, and it's not easy. But then a job would have been easier. But what else can you do, and where else can you go? What problems do you need to solve, and how do you serve your community and the world at large? Will that be through a work as an oil finder? Would that be uh, through work as a supply chain expert? Or what will that be? So framing that is what a coach helps you. Okay, so who you are, what you feel called to by the universe, God, or what tapestry is being laid before you, and what are you being called to as an individual that the pressures of the world is not allowing you to see. So how do you frame a clear and audacious future? And then how do you work your way back to where you are now? So who are your stakeholders, and
Yeah.
who have you chosen to serve?
Mm.
Your wife, your kids, and how do you bring the voices of those stakeholders into the conversations with the coach?
Yeah. That
And
is.
looking at the future, so what would 5 years look like? What would 10 years look like? And what would you look back to in 10 years and regret that you haven't done today towards where you want to go? And so you create a sense of urgency, you create a pathway, and you begin to walk that pathway. You have the coach as an accountability partner, you have the coach as a sounding board and a strategic thinking partner as well. And that's how you serve the individual.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I have this question. How old can one be, or how old can you get for you not to need a coach any longer? How old? At what age? That, okay, you know what? I don't think I need a coach.
So let's take a young graduate that you leave school. So you're looking at leading self, you're looking at functioning in an organization, you're looking at navigating. How do you uh, how do you demonstrate capability? All right. How do you ensure you belong? And what do people require of you, and what do you require of others to thrive? You get promoted to being a first-time people manager. Now you need to lead a team. You need to serve people who work with you and work for you. A coach can help you make those transitions so that you become an effective leader at that level. You move from leading a team to leading a function. Uh, how do you do those transitions that are a stretch so that you land on your feet, you get rid of things that might trip you up or derail you, and you make a success of your career? So you lead the business, you lead in society,
Yeah.
and at retirement, what do you want to do with your life? So who do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want your epitaph to be? So what do you want to be written on your tombstone? And when people remember you, so what would you like them to be remembered? So you're looking at legacy, and you're looking at that, and that's after self-actualization. And how do you begin to look at things that matter to you and reinvent yourself? A coach works alongside with you through all the changing scenes of life
Mm.
on how to be your best and how to serve others. So you get married, it's a different context. You have kids, another context. They grow into teenage, turns your whole world upside down. So where can you vent, and
Yeah.
where can you take a deep breath and begin to gain an orientation of where you are, what's important to you, and what you should be doing? A coach walks alongside you, not only helping you make sense of it, but uh, helping you decide what you want to do with what life is throwing at you at that point in time.
That is amazing. This is still the Global Talkative series with our guest, Sunmbo Durosola, professional certified coach, and our topic of discussion today is career coaching and mentoring. I want to appreciate Mrs. Lawia Grace for joining, Pastor Emmanuel from Benin City, Nigeria for joining. We thank you, Darius Sokoya. Thank you for joining. Ejiku Paul. Tomi Aderemi Ajayi, thank you for joining. We appreciate you. If you have any question for our coach today, you can just type in your question either from on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, and then we'll do our best to answer your question.
So before we go on, you just talked
Okay?
about a pastor being online.
Yeah.
It's a tough job being a pastor. Uh, it's like herding cats, go all over the place. People come up to you, spill on you, and you taking.
Yeah,
Uh, you need a trusted advisor. You need a trusted person uh, who you can begin to you let your hair down, you become human, put the
yeah,
pastor's cap aside and
yeah.
say, yeah, what's going on for me? What's going on for my flock? What's going on for everybody here? And who do I need to be to serve these people and serve God? How do I um, be an extension of God with a wrap around love and warmth of Christ in this situation? Even when you are drained and you are depleted, how do you get refilled and how do you get recharged? Where is a trusted professional who is equipped and who can uh, not only train, not only um, uh, help you move forward when you're stuck in certain circumstances so that you can show up to be your best with your congregation.
Wow. While you were talking about that, coming from being a person from African uh, communities, there's this taboo around how can a pastor, the pastor, the only man, with all the anointing, and then said, I'm going to see a coach. How would that sound? Because we have pastors watching, probably imam watching, or a sheikh watching. How would you say, okay, I'm that figure? Because people respect these spiritual leaders, like, okay, these are like, holy individuals, and you're saying now that they needed to, have a coach, someone they can talk to, because at some point they're humans, and you are human first before you become, a man of God, whatever you are.
Mhm.
So, how do you explain that?
Okay, my background is comparative religion, and I did Islamic theology.
Wow,
I did Christian theology, and I wrote my thesis in the Yoruba language, my dissertation. So,
wow.
African traditional religion, looking at the concept of God and looking at the identity of the individual based on culture and where you're from and where you're going. And so I was trained like a priest and I was trained like an imam. And
Wow.
I do understand the social context of a third, second, fourth culture. And so um, I understand the territory and how do you communicate the territory and help uh, an individual make sense of what's going on out there. So
Mm.
yeah, it's and mind you, I don't bring any expertise. All I do is a process. But the
Yeah,
point I'm making is this: a coach is trained to connect with individuals at the deep level, not on the surface. They
yeah.
get you, and
Hmm.
don't ever hire a coach that doesn't get you.
Hmm. That
And
is
so,
key.
so for pastors out there, I say get a coach,
Hmm.
test drive for an hour or two, and most coaches will offer you free service or free coaching for 1 hour.
Hmm. That is amazing. That's
So
someone you
just
can connect with.
just experience coaching and see where it goes.
Hmm. That is very, very powerful. Now, what are some of the considerations an individual should have before engaging a career coach?
So does the coach have a credential? What kind of training do they have? What kind of
Hmm.
people or situations have they worked with or do they work with?
Hmm.
Do they have references and are there stories of things they've done that they're able to share? Most coaches will offer trial sessions if you ask, and what you're checking for is connection, fit, chemistry, and compatibility. It's important that a coach has a credential. Credentials shows that a coach has met stringent educational requirements, that he has the experience and has demonstrated thorough understanding of the coaching competencies and competence and standards of the profession.
Hmm. That's
They belong to the body that had strict ethical guidelines, okay, that protects the individuals that the coaches serve and the consumers in general. So you want a coach that's trustworthy and has the ability to talk, to connect with you at a very deep level. You want somebody to challenge you. You want somebody to push you. And you want somebody who demonstrates equal partnership by being open, vulnerable, willing to take appropriate risks, provide feedback for you, holding up the mirror, say,
mm,
what are you seeing and what are
yeah.
you going to do about it?
Mm,
James talks about the man that looks at the mirror and walks away without doing anything.
yeah.
Uh, it characterizes him as a, well,
Yeah.
something. So the key thing is this: what do you need, and who do you want to become, and who can help you the most?
Hmm. That is powerful. Now, being we had a guest on our show recently who was a coach when it comes to relationship coach,
Mhm.
marriage and relationship coach, and it's still like the same thing because why are people, especially individuals from African or Caribbean descent, shy away from seeking the expertise of a coach? Are there any reason for persons not to ever need a coach or mentor? Why are people not like, okay, I don't need that? Because from my background in Nigeria, I don't think I've ever gone to see a coach unless I'm in class, like normal classroom for school. So it is not part of our culture. So what are the reasons do you think behind this? Because from your explanation, it's definitely important for us to have some form of guidance or direction, even beyond even you mentioned pastors, even every individual at every point in life, we need someone to put us through and guide us. So what are the reasons for persons not to ever need a coach or mentor?
It's not true, or rather, I won't say it might not be true that we don't look for mentors and coaches at home. If you're going to go into marriage, you're on the phone 24/7 with your mother, your husband's mother, or your wife's mother,
Yeah.
and parents are always on the phone with you. They're checking in on you. From the tone of your voice, they know what's on, if things
Yeah.
are off track or not. And they have a way of surfacing issues for you. There are significant friends that you can call up and say, oh, I don't understand what's happening in my marriage. My husband is showing up this way. He's moody. He's this. He's that. There's always somebody in the workplace of your husband. Say, is there anything going on there that I should be aware of? And how do I support my husband? How do I support my wife? We have a network and a mesh of community and structures and significant others that not only speak into our life, but look out for us. And so you come out here, you're stripped of all of that, and making sense and meaning of your new world is a whole different thing altogether. It challenges your identity, it skews the truth about your new reality and who you are. And
Yeah.
half the time, your first 3 years, um, new culture, new house, new place, you don't really know
Mm,
who you're becoming anymore. And so you need an anchor, and you need somebody who understands what the truth is, or rather somebody who will challenge you to look deep within yourself and call up resources that you have. Everybody has the resources within them. to surmount any challenges that life throws at them.
Hmm. That is amazing.
You have deep resources within you, and you have the capability to surmount any obstacle, and you should not go it alone.
Hmm.
If your parents are not here, if your wife gets anxious because you're falling apart, and you're putting pressure on her because she thinks she needs to fix and support you, then you need a third party. You
Hmm.
need so
Hmm.
pastors, counselors in the workplace in Nigeria are not trained, but then because we subscribe to the same truth, because we subscribe to the same culture and society, they're able to support.
Yeah.
Here, your context is different. Your pastor really doesn't understand what the place of a wife is, what the place of a child is.
Hmm. That's
And
amazing.
and that truth in itself has been turned on its head. So even if you have a Nigerian pastor here, the
Hmm.
context is different and they can't speak into your life anymore.
Yeah, that is
That's
amazing.
where a professional comes in. A
Hmm.
professional who has gone to school, who has the requisite qualification and able to support you. A coach will suspend the voice of inner judgment. They will listen with an open heart and connect at a deep level, and being on your side, watching, helping, coming alongside you
Yeah.
to see what you're seeing through your own perspective,
Hmm.
and then help you reframe so you can see clearly and decide what you want to do.
Hmm.
So a coach is like somebody sitting in your corner and helping you make sense of what's going on.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. This is still the Global Talkative Series with your host, Lanre Ajayi. And our guest today has been the amazing Mr. Sunmbo Durosola, professional certified coach. And our topic of discussion today is career coaching and mentoring. And if you have any question for our guest, you can type in your question on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, and we'll do our best to answer a question. We have about 10 minutes more in this conversation. Now, the next question I have for you, and I want to thank Amomi Akinefesi for joining us all the way from the state. Thank you so much, and all those amazing individuals who are watching us from around the world. Thank you so much. Now, on the average, how long can I engage the services of a coach? Like if I am a middle level manager in an oil and gas company, or I'm a branch manager of a bank, or I'm a musician, or I'm a dancer, or I'm a fashion designer, or I'm a home housewife, or want to go back to workplace. How long, like months or weeks, do I need to engage the services of a coach?
So the key thing is this: framing what you want to, where you want to be, and your journey is the first level, and you take your time. Basically, there are tools and a way of being that coach helps you with that. Um, Once you get unstuck, you probably don't need a coach on a regular basis anymore. So
Hmm.
maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, and then for another 3 months, you probably don't need them. But if there are particular things you want to work on, uh, marriages going south, and you're exasperated, torn in different places, then so a coach can work with you until you feel you don't need the coach anymore. One thing about professional coaches is that they will never build dependence. That's part of the ethics of the
Okay.
profession. So, as quickly as possible, they're trying to cut you loose. The philosophy behind coaching is this: you've got the resources within you, either God given or innate. in one way or the other. And so, how do you dig within yourselves to find resources that helps you go in the direction you want to go quickly? But a coach helps you frame the future you want to go, helps you frame a pathway, and the rest depends on you.
Hmm. That is amazing. When you get to a point that you're when you feel that you are not more entangled, or you get to a point that you know what, I think I'm kind of free. That is at that point. So in essence, there's no particular fixed time that you have to, probably stay with a coach, or like, you know, like I don't know how to frame the word, that you can actually get to a point that it can just be like you can just spend like a month or a day or weeks with a coach, and then yes, I think I'm okay, and then you can ready to move.
So you used an you use the word entangled. So you're wound up like a rubber band or a twine.
Hmm,
So it's just sitting down and being at rest and untangling yourself.
hmm,
By the time you talk to a coach, not only do you understand where the cords and where everything is, you actually are empowered to do that
hmm,
by yourself.
hmm,
Might take an hour, like I said, you stand in the balcony and looking at yourself on the dance floor of life,
hmm.
and you begin to, so you're not emotionally involved anymore.
Yeah.
The coach holds the space for you, a safe, supportive environment where you're not anxious, where you can let your hair down, and where you can, uh, how do I put it now? You begin to see what you normally would not see. And it's easy for you to gain traction and move on without the coach. So, in 1 hour, if it's an effective coach, you begin to understand who you are and what is happening around you and where you want to go generally. And that's the beginning.
Hmm, hmm. That is amazing. Still on the Global Talkative Series with your host Lanre Ajayi, and our guest today is Sunmbo Durosola, professional certified coach. And our topic of discussion today is career coaching and mentoring. Now, how do we, like, someone is asking me a question, that is there a way we can coach children as well? Because it's very essential to give them some level of training. How can one coach children, like, before they becoming teenagers, adolescent to teenager? What sort of training or coaching, from the home front or from the professional angle? How do we train kids?
Well, training kids is a primary responsibility of the parent. It won't be the school, the church, community, or society. But the parent does that in partnership with them. And so, what are your values at home? And how can you be present uh, and be in a trusting relationship with your child? If you have a lot going on for you in life, you have a job that takes you to Houston, to Asia, and you
Yeah.
come home, you're tired, and you have little margin for what matters most or what should matter most in your life. So a coach can come alongside you and you begin to reorder your priorities, learn to be present, and learn to see what's going on around you so you're able to come alongside and support your child.
Mm,
Uh, Primarily, um, a child needs support. And what support system, or how do I put it now? What are the unmet needs of the child?
yeah.
How do you anticipate that? You provide that so the child feels safe, feels supported, and in a community. And so,
That is
what does that mean for you as a Canadian? What does it mean for the child as a has a third culture child, either from Asia or from Africa or from Latin America. So how do you help them begin to navigate and understand their identity and understand who they are and who who they represent. So when they show up and they're being experienced either at school, it's to a core in terms of values, beliefs, and systems that not only serves them well at home, but serves them well in life as well. And
Yeah.
that's a primary role of the parent. And a coach can come alongside you to frame that, define, so that you begin to understand what works best in your own context. It's bringing the stakeholders' voice into the conversation. Your wife, your kid, your business associates, your bosses at work, your stakeholders, the results you need to deliver at work, and the demands of you being a father, a husband, and a child. So you coach the whole person. So,
Okay.
uh, so okay, sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Now we have about 2 minutes, 3 minutes more, but I wanted to answer this last question in about a minute. Now,
Okay.
in African context, people
Mhm.
discipline. Discipline is introduced at home, school, and in the community. Now, someone is asking, can we say that discipline is part of coaching and mentoring?
So why do you discipline? So
Maybe
the
for
first,
correction.
okay, that's it. So something is wrong, and the standards has been missed. And so the thing is, how do you bring them back on track in terms of behavior and what the standards should be? Um, can you actually make anybody do what they don't want to do?
Hmm, Maybe
And
difficult.
and with raw power, does it achieve anything? Even the CIA has come up that torture doesn't actually work on terrorists in
Yeah,
spilling out.
yeah.
So what works best? And how do you earn the respect of a child or the
Hmm,
respect of a word such that they're willing to listen to you and they're willing to subscribe to your truths as you guide them? That's the real question.
hmm,
So, in your new context, where you are now allowed to put beat, where you can't withhold the necessities of life from a child, deny them food, deny them sleep, punish them, how might you come alongside your child and support them so that they grow in a safe, supportive environment to be fully functioning entities in this community and society?
hmm,
That is what a coach helps you frame.
hmm. Not necessarily apportioning blame or beating or spanking, because, like you said, it has been proven that those kind of discipline have little or no effect on an individual. Like beating at times get people worsened, or I've heard cases whereby criminals, they don't get better in jail. In fact, some of them, they once they are out of jail, they are much more, they become more harder, they become more hardened in their behavior. Just to like buttress your point that discipline not necessarily has to, but a coach will probably have a better angle on how to apportion some form of correction.
So basically, a child needs safety, and a child needs to begin to individuate and differentiate. Okay, I need to
Mm,
become my own person. At 7, they're asking why, and they want to be convinced. So, are you present? And a child, when they are venturing out, I'll take an example of a child to the beach. And
Sorry,
then,
hold on. For our Instagram audiences, we're gonna be timing out on Instagram because Instagram only allows for 1 hour, and the conversation is getting interesting. We're just gonna time out on Instagram, and then we'll continue on Facebook and YouTube, and then we'll probably connect back on Instagram. Continue, sir.
so I'll give you a typical example. We go to the beach with a child. The child will be looking
Continue.
at the water, initially afraid, then venture out, toe deep into the water. He's holding your hands. They get comfortable, they throw off your hands and they run into the water.
Yeah.
So the anxiety for the parents is this: is the child ready to take on life? Is the child going away from our values? Is he is peer pressure uh, obscuring the truth as espoused by this family and by this community? And those are, so what are your met needs?
Hmm.
And how do you calm down? You're not triggered. How do you walk alongside your child to help them reframe their
Yeah.
perspectives and have an understanding? I'm not the enemy here. I'm here
Hmm.
for you.
Hmm.
And as
Hmm.
much as possible, let's walk through life together.
Hmm. That is amazing. Thank you so much for your time today on the Global Talkative Series. We appreciate spending so much time and giving us some nuggets of truth and wisdom that will help us to be a better person. I want to say appreciate our guest today, Mr. Sunmbo Durosola, and our topic of discussion today has been career coaching and mentoring. Now, if someone want to get in touch with you, how can they reach out to you?
Uh, okay. Can you put my phone number out there?
Yes. So let me just do that now. Okay. What is the number, sir?
403
403
667
667
6419.
6419. So
Uh,
it's
uh,
going to be
a
okay.
15-minute exploratory conversation is free. Hello?
Okay. So I'm going to some of guest. That is the number showing on the screen.
403
Okay. I'm trying
667
to get the number to
6419.
show on the screen. And then I'm going to get back online. Anyway, to get in touch with our guest, the number of our guest is showing on the screen. 403 I'll say it again. To get in touch with our guest today, Mr. Sunmbo Durushala, the career coach, coaching and mentoring, expert. The number to reach him is 403 667 6419. Do you have any closing word for our guest before we leave the studio?
You're not alone,
Hmm.
and you don't need to carry the burden all by yourself. If you are an executive and you bear the brunt of organizations, uh, the people you serve, your stakeholders, your staff, your colleagues on the leadership team, and you need a confidential and thinking partner, a strategic sounding board that helps you understand what's going on and frame where you want to be. Uh,
Hmm.
Look out for a coach, look out for a mentor.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your time today on the show. We've come to the end of today's broadcast, and if you enjoy today's broadcast, you can go on our YouTube page, Lanre Ajayi, or Facebook page, to drop us a note or a word and tell us how much you enjoy this discussion today. Once again, to reach Mr. Sunmbo Durushola, the number is 403 667 1919. Until we'll come again your way next time with exciting episode on the Global Talkative series, is bye from me and thank you so much. Bye.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Bye bye.